Hello friends, welcome to another chapter of Fun Time English, part 8 of Standard 6 English. Let us kick off with what we were doing in the last class. And here we have some errors in this passage. We were to edit the errors and make the sentences correct. Let's begin with the first one. Cinderella go to the ballroom dressed in wonderful clothes. Here we need the past tense of the word go. The past tense is not G-O-E-D, it is went. Go, the past tense is went. And here we have he. We need the feminine pronoun here, which is she. He is masculine. അത് പുരുഷനെ സൂചിപ്പിക്കുന്നതാണ് ഇവിടെ. സിൻഡ്രല്ല ഒരു സ്ത്രീ ആയതുകൊണ്ട് അവളെ സൂചിപ്പിക്കാൻ she എന്നാണ് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്. And footman is singular. We need the plural of that noun here. 6 footmen waited on her. In the ballroom, she looked like a princess. And finally, we have he rode in the red coach. He rode in a red coach is correct here. And these are the mistakes that were made here in this passage. Let's move on. Part A of activity 4 was to design an invitation card for Mother's Day. We know that what all features are there for an invitation card. We learned it in this chapter. So that will not be a difficult task for you. Here the B part is what we are going to attempt to do now. Write a message to your mother on the occasion of Mother's Day. So here is the first one, and I have included 3 different messages for the occasion of Mother's Day. You may copy this to your notebook. And let's read one and try to understand what it means. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for everything you have done for us. It is more than we can ever repay you. എനിക്ക് വേണ്ടി ചെയ്തു തന്ന എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങൾക്കും നന്ദി പറയുകയാണ്. ഒരിക്കലും ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് തിരിച്ചു നൽകാൻ കഴിയാത്ത അത്ര കാര്യങ്ങൾ നിങ്ങൾ എനിക്ക് തന്നിട്ടുണ്ട് എന്നാണ് ഇതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥമാക്കുന്നത്. And here we have another activity which is to answer these questions A, B, C and D. First question was, what does the poet ask the dewdrops to do? Here in the third line we can understand, we can know what the poet tells the dewdrops to do. Fall softly, dewdrops. പതുക്കെ വീഴൂ dewdropsേ എന്ന് പറയുകയാണ്. The poet asked the dewdrops to fall softly on her. Pick out a pair of rhyming words. We know rhyming words. Rhyming words are the similar sounding words. ശബ്ദം ഒരുപോലെയുള്ള വാക്കുകൾ. ഏതൊക്കെയാണത്? Rain and again are a pair of rhyming words from these lines. Until we can rest again. Who is I referred here? Here I refers to the poet. It is very clear. Where does the poet want to float? You know, you can search for the word float here. Pungikedakkuga. Float here. Here is the word float. Let me float across the sky. So, translating that into a sentence, she wants to float across the sky. Read the passage from the story Cinderella, and here we have to write the thoughts of Cinderella, which I have written here. I am giving this away to you because we have learned all these things in our previous classes. We have understood how to write the speech of Cinderella, how to write the thought of Cinderella and everything. That is why I am giving away the answers. So that's it. And this was another worksheet given to you, and the plural form of the verb was to be written man. The plural is men. Here what you need to understand, what you need to know here is that simply by adding the letter S will not give you the plural of the word. Boy, boys is correct. Boy, ആൺകുട്ടി, ആൺകുട്ടികൾ, boy, boys. പക്ഷേ ഇവിടെ നമുക്കത് ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ കഴിയില്ല. അതിന് പകരം നമ്മൾ man എന്നുള്ളതിന് men എന്ന് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നു, foot എന്നുള്ളതിന് feet എന്ന് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നു, mouse, mice, sheep. Sheep itself is the plural of the word sheep. Women, you know, footman, how did we change that into the plural? By changing it into footmen. Women is correct. Oxen is correct. This is a peculiar one. ചില പ്രത്യേകതയുള്ളതാണ്. Goose, geese is correct. Moose is correct. Tooth, teeth is correct. Dies is correct. Here the word die can also have the meaning മരിക്കുക, which is a verb usage. Here it is a noun. അതിനൊരു നാമപദമായിട്ടാണ് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്. We have learned that a preposition can tell us more information about what is happening and when. So let us take the first example. The princess lives dash the castle. Princess എവിടെയാണ് താമസിക്കുന്നത് എന്നുള്ളതാണ് പറയുന്നത്. In the castle is correct here. I bought some milk dash the grocery store. ഞാൻ the grocery storeൽ നിന്നും milk വാങ്ങി കൊണ്ടുവന്നു. Which one is correct? From is correct. My sister sat dash my mom dash the bus. Here multiple options are correct here. Let us take an example of first one. My sister sat with my mom in the bus. That is correct. But I have written something else here. Let's check this. My sister sat by my mom in the bus. This is also a correct usage. Chare aduthu ennulla arthathil by enna vaakku upayogichirikkunnu. When I got ready for dinner, I had to take my books dash the table. I had to take my books dash the table. Off the table. Table il ninnu maatendi varunu ennulla arthathil. We took a trip dash off town last week. Out of town last week. Here is off, with, to, by, in and by. Our dog ran in the yard by the fence. So that will be the end of the second unit. Now let us move on to the third unit. I welcome all you to unit 3, namely glimpses of nature. Nature, prakriti. So here are a bird's eye view on the chapter glimpses of nature. This unit contains 2 proses, one by Vaikam Muhammad Bashir, namely the rightful inheritors of the earth. ഭൂമിയുടെ അവകാശികൾ എന്ന ഒരു ഗദ്യം പഠിക്കാനുണ്ട്. The Book of Nature by our former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, whom we fondly call Chacha Ji. One poem is also here, which is called The Mountain and the Squirrel. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote this poem. So let's jump right into it. Are all the fingers equal in size? Fingers, viralugal. Are all the viralugal equal in size? So I have shown you the palm, a model of the palm. So what do you think? Which one is the longest finger? The tallest finger? Which one is the shortest? We know that it's the little finger, the pinky finger. Which we know this one is the smallest, and here this one is the biggest one. We know that. Here is another question. Which is the most important finger? ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട finger ഏതാണ്? One way to look at this is to imagine missing one finger. Imagine you lost this thumb in an accident. May that not happen to you. Will it be easy for you to do things, to carry things, or to hold things? It is difficult, isn't it? Look at this. Which finger is he using to point to that direction? Go this way. Which finger is he using? What about this picture? All the best. Which finger is he using? And what about this one? They are using 2 of their fingers to communicate something. Hooray, we are the victors. They are showing the letter V with their fingers. All fingers are equally important. തുല്യമായിട്ട് പ്രാധാന്യമുണ്ട്. They have different purposes. അവയ്ക്കെല്ലാം വ്യത്യസ്തമായ ഉദ്ദേശങ്ങളുമുണ്ട്. Here we have 4 questions, beginning with the first one. Are all the 5 fingers necessary for us? അതാവശ്യമുണ്ടോ എല്ലാ ഫിംഗേഴ്സിൻ്റെയും? All fingers are necessary for us. They have different purposes. Do you think any finger is less important than the others? കുറച്ച് പ്രാധാന്യമുള്ള ഏതെങ്കിലും വിരലുണ്ടോ? No, I don't think one finger is less or more important than the other. What would happen if any one of your fingers is missing? We won't be able to perform our tasks well. Do you think anything in this world is less important? Why? We are trying to extend that question. നമ്മൾ നീട്ടുന്നു ആ ചോദ്യത്തെ. Do you think anything in this world is less important? Why? What is the answer? Everything in this world is important. Everything has its own role to play. The mountain and the squirrel. An animation of a mountain and squirrel is here. Let us see what the mountain is saying. The mountain is calling the squirrel a little prig. He's really angry, I guess. Little prig. What is the meaning of prig? We will understand it in the coming pages. You are very big, the squirrel is saying. The Mountain and the Squirrel. This is a poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Here is a poem. The mountain and the squirrel had a quarrel. Vazhakku. And the former called the latter little prig. Mountain squirrel വിളിക്കുകയാണ് ലിറ്റിൽ പ്രിഗ് എന്ന് വിളിച്ചു. Someone who thinks that they are better than other people because they always obey strict moral rules. മറ്റുള്ളവരെക്കാൾ നല്ലതാണ്, ഉയർന്നവരാണ് താൻ എന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുന്ന ആളുകളെയാണ് പ്രിഗ് എന്ന് വിളിക്കുക. Bun replied. Here Bun means the squirrel. You are doubtless very big, but all sorts of thing and weather must be taken in together to make up a year and a spear. പക്ഷേ ഇവൻ പറയുന്നത് എന്താണ്? എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും വേണം, വെതറും കാലാവസ്ഥയും വേണം, എന്താ ഉണ്ടാവുന്നതിന് ഒരു വർഷവും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ സ്പിയറും ഉണ്ടാവുന്നതിന്. സ്പിയർ എന്നുള്ള വാക്കിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം ഗോളം എന്നാണ്. അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം കൂടുതൽ വിശദമായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യം നമുക്ക് അടുത്ത ഭാഗത്ത് മനസ്സിലാക്കാം. ആൻഡ് ഐ തിങ്ക് ഹിയർ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത് എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ മൗണ്ടൻ മാത്രം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ലോകം ഉണ്ടാവില്ല എന്നാണ് അർത്ഥമാക്കുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ഐ തിങ്ക് ഇറ്റ് നോ ഡിസ്ഗ്രേസ് ടു ഓക്യുപ്പൈ മൈ പ്ലേസ്. ഡിസ്ഗ്രേസ് ഹിയർ, ഡിസ്ഗ്രേസ് എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ the loss of other people's respect because of something bad that you have done. അപമാനകരമായ എന്നാണ് അർത്ഥം. To occupy my place, to live, stay or work in a particular place. Occupy, ഇടം പിടിക്കുക. എൻ്റെ സ്ഥലത്ത് ഞാൻ ഇരിക്കുന്നത് അപമാനകരമല്ല എന്ന് അണ്ണൻ പറയുന്നു. Here, if I am not so large as you, you are not so small as I, and not half so spry. I will not deny you make a very pretty squirrel track. Talents differ, all is well and wisely put. If I cannot carry forest on my back, neither can you crack a nut. Let us pay our attention. Let us focus on the last two lines here. If I cannot carry forest on my back, എനിക്ക് കാട് എൻ്റെ പുറത്ത് വെച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നടക്കാൻ കഴിയുകയില്ല, എനിക്ക് എൻ്റെ പുറത്ത് കാടിനെ വഹിക്കാൻ കഴിയുകയില്ല, പക്ഷേ നിനക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയില്ല? ഒരു നട്ടിനെ, ഒരു വിത്തിനെ ക്രാക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ, പൊളിക്കാൻ കഴിയുകയില്ല എന്ന് പറയുകയാണ്. അത് അണ്ണാന് മാത്രമേ സാധിക്കൂ. ഇവിടെ അണ്ണാന് മാത്രം സാധിക്കുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമുണ്ട്, മൗണ്ടന് മാത്രം സാധിക്കുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമുണ്ട്. സ്പ്രൈ എന്നുള്ള വാക്കിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം ഇതാണ്. An old person who is spry is still very healthy and still has a lot of energy. Old person who has a lot of energy and who is healthy. And here deny, നിഷേധിക്കുക എന്നാണ് അർത്ഥം. To say that you did not do something that someone has accused you of doing. നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തു എന്ന് മറ്റൊരാൾ പറയുന്നൊരു കാര്യം നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തില്ല എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിനെ. Here is our poet Ralph Waldo Emerson. He was an American philosopher, essayist and poet. And here he also wrote a lot of poems about the relationship between man and nature. And here we have an activity for revisiting the poem. What made the squirrel angry? I hope you know the answer of this question. The mountain called the squirrel something. What did he call him? You have to write it. This is your homework. The mountain called the squirrel dash. The squirrel speaks of a spear. What does it mean? Spear, golem. The squirrel meant earth by the word spear. ഭൂമിയെ തന്നെയാണ് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. Talents differ. What does the poet mean by this expression? Talents differ. Here it means that each person has his or her own abilities. They vary from person to person. എല്ലാവർക്കും വ്യത്യസ്തമായ കഴിവുകളുണ്ട്. Abilities, കഴിവുകൾ അവ വ്യത്യസ്തമാണ് ഒരു വ്യക്തിയിൽ നിന്ന് മറ്റൊരു വ്യക്തിയിലേക്ക്. How did the mountain and the squirrel settle their argument? അവർ ഒരു ഒത്തുതീർപ്പിലെത്തി. അതെങ്ങനെയാണ്? They settled their arguments by coming to a conclusion, ഒരു നിഗമനം, that if the squirrel cannot carry forest on his back, neither can the mountain crack a nut. Here is the fifth question. Which of the following does not match with the theme of the poem? We did a similar activity in Malala's chapter. One of the statements was not told by Malala. Let's check the first one. Every creature in the world, big or small, has its own importance. It's a correct one. എല്ലാത്തിനും അതിൻ്റെതായ പ്രാധാന്യമുണ്ട്. Second one, each person has his or her own individual talents. എല്ലാവർക്കും ടാലൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. ശരി തന്നെയാണ്. Everything in this world has a role of its own. Nothing is greater or less than any other. It's also correct. Now, we can simply say that the last one is wrong, and let's read what it is. The mountain requests for the squirrel's help. Mountain squirrel help ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് എന്ന് പറയുകയാണ്. That is wrong. Activity 1. What is this? Fill the columns with appropriate expressions given in the brackets. These are the expressions. Very big, squirrel ano, mountain ano. Small, can carry forest on the back, can crack a nut. Let's take the first one. Very big. I am very big. This is what the mountain, this is what we can attribute to the mountain. Very big, squirrel. And I am small. Which one is small, mountain or the squirrel? It's a squirrel, clearly. And can carry forest on the back. Mountain or squirrel? ഏതാണ് കാടിനെ പുറത്ത് വഹിക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്നത് ആരാണ്? നമുക്ക് അറിയാം അത് മൗണ്ടൻ ആണ്. Can crack a nut ആരാണെന്ന് എഴുതുക, കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. Pick out the rhyming words from the poem. And I have done 2 for you, 2 pairs. Squirrel and quarrel. Rel is the rhyming sound here. Prig and big are another pair of rhyming words. Try to find out more pairs of rhyming words from this poem. I will give you one more example. The last 3 lines here, put and nut. We can call them rhyming words because the last sound t is same in both of these words. Those words rhyme too. Alliteration. Here, this is a very famous tongue twister. ഇതൊരു നാവ് പഴങ്ങുമോ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു തരം ഒരു ഭാഷ കേളിയാണ്, നമുക്കറിയാവുന്നതാണ്. She sells seashells on the seashore. What is this? Here, can you identify what is special, what the speciality of the sentence is? Something is interesting about this thing. What is it? A repetitive sound at the beginning of each word. Let's take the first word, she, for example. S is there. Sells, S is there. Seashells, S is there. Sea and shore. All these words, most of these words have starts with the same sound. In the line, the sound L is repeated in the beginning of the words later and little. This is an example of alliteration. Here is a sentence. The mountain and the squirrel had a quarrel, and the former called the latter little prig. The latter, L, little, L, these sounds are repeating. ഇത് ഒരു alliteration എന്നാണ് ഇതിനെ പറയുക, ഇത്തരത്തിൽ ആവർത്തിക്കുന്നതിനെ. Another example is given here. My love is a red rose. Which sound is repeating? ഏത് ശബ്ദമാണ് ആവർത്തിക്കുന്നത്? R sound is repeating. Red rose. Now identify and write down words that are examples of alliteration from the last 4 lines of the poem. അവസാനത്തെ വരിയിൽ നിന്ന് ഇതുപോലെ ഉദാഹരണങ്ങൾ എടുക്കുക. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സഹായകരമായിട്ട് ഞാനൊരു വർക്ക്ഷീറ്റ് കൂടി ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതിന് മുൻപായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് ഒരു പ്രവർത്തനം ചെയ്യാം. What is this? Write the summary of the poem by choosing relevant sentences from those given below. Here, some sentences are given here. All you need to do is to order them in the correct sequence. Let's start with the first one. The mountain and the squirrel begin a quarrel with each other. And here is the second one, the one on the bottom. They quarrel because the mountain feels that it is more important. This is the second one. But not necessarily all of these sentences are in the correct order. You have to rearrange them into the correct order and form the correct sequence and write it as the summary of the poem. You have this activity in your textbook. And here is another example of alliteration. It's a worksheet which you have to do. Copy this to your notebook. And here some words are given in a box. All you need to do is to pick correct words from this box and write it here, so that it makes an alliteration. It alliterates. First one, Freddy had dash fun with his family. So can you tell me which sound is repeating here? Is it a h? Is it a d? Or is it a w? Or is it a f? Freddy, fun, family. So it's clearly f. Can you repeat after me? F. So Freddy had, is it a apple fun with his family? No, not at all. It's friendly is correct. So it will be Freddy had friendly fun with family. Sita dashed silently. Sita s. is the correct one to write here. Sita, is it slept silently or is Sita fed silently? So you can pick the correct word based on which sound repeats here. That is it. And that is all for today's class. Please feel free to call to the given number if you have any doubts. See you in the next class. Thank you for watching.